Yeah, so how did he get his green suit? I want to ask you.
How to get it? He went to a tailor and had it made for him. John Glazer designed it. That's how he got it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, if let's say if Kingdom comes back, because since right now he makes
Yeah, let's just say that.
if he comes back, how would that affect Nygma this show? Like, would he be
Ooh.
would it intimidate him, or would he be like?
Well, it'd be pretty humiliating and infuriating. Maybe exciting. You get to kill him again. I mean, get to shoot him twice. Maybe I regret that there was only one bullet. We can fix that. I think it certainly fuels one of a very exciting antagonism in the show. I think it can be the beginning of a pretty exciting war. It could be very destructive for the city. It's a lot of potential, you know.
So Riddler's one of my favorites.
Thank
I think
you.
He's totally underrated. So can you tell me, kind of what is a part of him that you want to explore that we haven't yet?
Yeah, well, once he kind of dons the title of the Riddler in episode 15 on April 24th at 8 p.m. 7 Central, I think he chooses that name, but then it's like, okay, well now what? I got to fill in the blanks. I can't just call myself something. I have to be something. So he's going to be experimenting with what that means and what that looks like into season 4. There's not really like an answer or a defined personality by the end of 3. Where I want to see him go is the exact opposite of where he started. I like the idea of Riddler being very elegant, very smooth, so that these riddles are like they're kind of beautiful. They're like dancer-like. I like that.
And not as corny as we saw in that little scene.
Not as corny. So like I wanted him to start that way because it's like he's trying so hard. He's like forcing them, and eventually I just want them to be like really light. I want him to seem like a dancer, really long and beautiful. Yes. Yeah. So, the Court of Owls, if you remember back to the end of season 2, Hugo Strange had me doing this stuff with Bruce and asking him questions about who actually runs Gotham. And I never got the answer to that. And I asked him, and he wouldn't give it to me. He just locked me back up. And so when this comes back up, who runs Gotham? It's very interesting that, like, to him, of like, oh my gosh, a reminder. This is a riddle that got away, and I want to find out who it is. And so he goes on a rampage to find out. Say what?
Will he ally with some people, or is he going to take on the court by
I mean, Riddler can ally with people every now and then, but the man's an independent.
Is there any character that you have interacted with that you want to interact with going on season 3 or 4?
Oh, sure. I really love what Benedict did with Mad Hatter, and I think the two of them together could have a really interesting relationship, especially both of their affinities for words. Could be a really interesting match. I think one of a pairing between Jerome and Riddler would be quite interesting. You know, Riddler loves puzzles and questions and answers, and Jerome is just anarchy. So what happens when you get Jerome stuck in a puzzle? Does he even have the potential to figure it out? Because he's not necessarily bright. He just crushes things.
Is there a third round of love interest for the Riddler? Because he always has bad luck.
I do not think so, but if there is one, I also don't think the third time will not be the charm. Yeah.
When you look back at this season, what's been the most exciting episode for you? Looking back at the whole thing, even the ones we haven't seen.
Well, I mean, I guess I should say 15. It is. I mean, it's when he becomes the Riddler, but it's actually hard. My impression of filming them and making them is always different once I see it. And I just thought episode 14, the last one that aired, was like the strongest episode of the show thus far, and it was a really important episode for Edward because he killed Oswald, and I thought it was a pretty devastating thing to kill your best friend and to kill your mentor and to kill someone that you looked up to. I thought the idea of enacting revenge or justice, putting justice in his own hands, was really interesting for him. So I thought there were a lot of themes. It was the first time he was physically violent with his hands. I thought there was like a lot of change that happened to the character. 15 is certainly important because he calls himself the Riddler, but I don't know that there's that much change happening in that episode, other than like finding his identity that way, you know? Yeah.